I know you guys thought Chucky would be a really good player, obviously, but sometimes freshmen can get a little bit of a streak where they struggle a little bit. He doesn't. Has he hit one of those, or is he just kind of pushing through things?
I think he's probably pushing through. I think the biggest thing is, just the calmness and the poise that he's played with. I mean, I knew he was going to be good, and you never know how fast he's going to be good. But the maturity and he's not flappable. He doesn't panic. He plays that. That's how you have to play that position. You have to be calm. You have to stay focused on the important things and not let some of the irrelevant noise get to you in the games. And you have some flow of a game. And he's done a really good job of that.
Greg, I know you're focused one game at a time, but you know what it's like to be in first, and you know what it's like to win the Big Ten. What is it going to take down the stretch with 7 games left to kind of close out that season?
Take it one game at a time, one day at a time. Continue to get better. We got a long ways to go. It's a long, and we got really tough games starting with 1 year Saturday afternoon. So, not changing who we are and not changing our approach, just like we have been trying to do, and continue to get ready for each day and each opponent that's coming.
Johnny said he felt like it was the best team defense you guys played against Michigan State. Do you think the same thing, or what stood out to you defensively about what your team did?
Yeah, we were better than we were when they were here. I think we've gotten better over the course of time, and maybe that made some things, gave a little more reality, maybe, or to things that we have been talking about. But when you take one on the chin and then have to go watch the film, it maybe reemphasizes things and has a little more bite to it, so to speak. So I thought we were really good in transition defensively. It helps when you're shooting 22 free throws and those things and scoring in the paint. We took care of the ball, which kept them out of transition for the most part. I think we didn't give up any transition points. I think the stat sheet was actually wrong. So at least how we graded it out, there weren't any, and we did a good job on the glass too. So we minimized second chance opportunities, and we got a few. We actually got more ourselves. So that was all important to be able to get that done.
Where do you see Isaac Lindsey in terms of how he may impact this program down the road and the trajectory he's on right now?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Isaac is the continued growth physically, to get stronger, try to get more athletic, and he's definitely done that. When he showed up this summer, there was a noticeable change from when I had last seen him in high school. So I think just stay on that course and that track, and understand that he's going to be, there will be a role, and fill that role as a shooter, and continue to work on those other things. And the strength and the athleticism will help him be more physical as a defender. He's not afraid to stick his nose in and mix things up. I've seen that many times in practice. So, and I wasn't sure he had that part to him when he was at Mineral Point. So whether he didn't show it or he's developed it since he's been in college, that's a good sign too.
Greg, you mentioned getting ready for Rutgers. What stands out about them? You guys have mentioned defense and then the guards. So just what stands out from your perspective?
I mean, they're experienced, which obviously means they're old. Really good players, guys that have been there a long time. Steve's done a good job of instilling the mentality that you have to play with in this league in terms of how physical they are. So they've done a lot of good things, and just I think you look at I've always said the toughness and the mentality that he developed right away. He got that changed first, and then he got obviously he's got good players now. So it's like any other game in the league. It's going to be very physical. Things are basket's going to be hard to get. Both teams guard really well, and obviously he's got guys that Omarue's gotten better by getting individuals. Harper, Geo Baker, seems like he's been there for 100 years. Mulcahy has really improved. Really has stepped up and been good for them. And obviously they're coming in here with a lot of confidence. After watching their game with Michigan State and then what they were able to comeback they had last night against Ohio State. It's another good team, and it's going to be a good test for us on Saturday.
I know you embrace analytics, but the computers don't love you as much this year as they have been.
My kids don't love me some days too, so I really don't get. You know what? I really, the only analytic that matters is the final score at the end of the game. So, and I get it. I understand all that. I know why. Maybe it's not. We didn't win by enough when we were supposed to. I never get into how much we win by. Sometimes I'm pulling guys at the end of the game when I know we got the game wrapped up and maybe the score will not be indicative of how the game was, but I know we've got more coming down the road. A great example was the last 30 seconds the other night with Tyler. The game's over. We're going to be okay. I'm going to get him out, just because of obviously what we've been dealing with and trying to keep him healthy. And I've done that in other times where it's been a bigger chunk of time where as long as I know we've got the game sealed, I'm not really getting too wrapped up in what the final score is going to be.
What'd you make of Johnny's fit number 51 the other night?
I told him after the game, I think maybe we got to keep it. He said, no, he wasn't up for that. So whether we got a new jersey coming or whatever's going on, or we have to tape over the 5 and you can just wear 51, we'll block out the 5. But told him, hey, you wear 51, now they don't know who you are. You can sneak up and you won't be as identifiable if you change your number.
I think he made all 5 shots.
He didn't. He wasn't buying changing a number. He was really pretty set on staying with his original number.
What is it about the 51? I know that Brevin had to break out.
It's a blood jersey. It's a blood jersey. It's a spare.
Like, but the number, like, just.
Probably because nobody really wants 51. That's why it's
41 also.
We have 41. Yeah.
So 2 numbers.
Yeah, we have 2 numbers. They're 2 different sizes, I assume. Yeah. 51's a smaller one, and that makes a lot of sense. Put a Gard in 51.
Those blood jerseys behind the bench, you guys just have them
Yeah.
available?
I don't know who's in charge of it. I don't have to worry about them. Our trainer, I think, has them in a bag, or managers have them in a bag. So, in case we, have to change, and that's a.
Bring shorts, too.
Yeah, we bring shorts too.
These are my high
That'd be a problem with someone's shorts.
Yeah, well, they wear enough stuff underneath. They wouldn't be. It'd be okay for TV. I think we'd be okay. We wouldn't get in trouble.
The other night after the game, you mentioned you thought Johnny was very efficient, and I think all 3 of his assists came. 2 for sure were on triple teams.
All right.
As teams continue to do that, and if he continues to find open guys and you make them pay, do you think teams will have to counter back and say, maybe we can't send the whole roster at this guy?
Well, it makes it a more complete offensive team. There's no doubt. And I think you want that. You want the versatility. That's really how we recruit too, and how we try to develop guys in terms of being very versatile. We like guys that can dribble, pass, and shoot. You have to be able to play all phases of the game. That's another example why it adds a layer to your difficulty and preparation for an opponent. You can post the majority of your roster, and then again, I keep saying it's a great playmaking position. You don't have to score from the paint, but man, you talk about catch the attention of the defense. You just watch heads turn, and there's so many good things can happen from playing through the paint. What comes out of it in terms of, I always tell our guys, you don't have to shoot it, but the attention you draw, and when you can cut and you can load aside and you can move guys around, it's a good weapon to have. And we're much better when we can play through the paint, regardless of who it ends up being. When you got your All-American, that's going to draw some attention.
Kind of a follow-up to that, you guys have talked in the last 2 weeks about Chucky being more assertive offensively, and it appears that he's got that skill, whether he can go down there or drive through there like he did the other night against Bingham. If he continues
Do
to
his
do
Harlem
that,
Globetrotter move where he just keeps the dribble and keeps going around in circles. Yeah.
if he can continue to do that, and how much better will that make you guys offensively?
Well, when he's in attack mode, his ability, his vision, his feel as a point guard is terrific. He understands the position. His head's up. He sees things that maybe the average player doesn't see. Finds guys. Sometimes we're not ready for the pass too. So I think that's been something we've gotten better with. As we always tell him, get ready. We saw that this summer. He almost took a couple people's heads off in practice in the summer. Get ready. He sees you. It's coming. So I think that's important, that you have to have a point guard that can attack and get in the paint. And Lauren's getting better at it too. Lauren's getting better at playing off 2 feet. So again, the more you can develop those qualities and those skill sets, the more diverse you become offensively, and obviously it makes it harder to guard at the end of the day.
Jordan's minutes and appearances are still pretty sporadic this season. Is it a opponent matchup thing that you like? Is there certain opponents you like him against, or what's he just missing in terms of being a consistent performer off the bench?
Yeah, it's part matchups, it's part flow of the game. Just what I see, what I want at certain times. Obviously, having Brad and Johnny off the floor at the same time probably isn't going to happen too much. So it's probably been more of what I depend on and want and have been getting out of Johnny and Brad. more so than anything else. You know, I think Jordan's continuing to work. I think he's gotten better defensively. And I think he wants to continue to become more consistent offensively with the shooting. And you know, he's got some toughness to him. He sticks his nose in. I give him a lot of reps here in practice. He's with us quite a bit on my side of the floor. But it's just a matter of the matchups and the time. And, you know, we've had to play smaller at times with Tyler more at the 4 than even, so that affects things sometimes too, in terms of even Ben's minutes, just because of the matchups we have to face and what I see in flow a game. You know, flow's not going well, and we've got to get some things fixed. It's not a lot of time for experimentation, and those times we have to continue to grow and practice.